The Met Office is really excited by the opportunities presented by both the Newton and the WISER funds. Weather and climate is being increasingly recognised as critical disciplines to contribute to the protection of life and property, and things that have a really significant impact on the economy of countries. These funds offer a tremendous opportunity to us to work with partners in the UK and internationally and use the science and capability we have here really to contribute and benefit to other countries. Addressing the issues presented by weather and climate change is a global challenge. As a consequence, we have an extensive network of international relationships, both on science and operations. And building on this network of relationships through Newton and WISER gives us a real opportunity to support UK government's policy objectives.
The government is entirely committed both to our science base and to the internationalisation of our science base. And they're committed for good reason. The first is that science by nature is international. All scientists instinctively work on global challenges with their colleagues throughout the globe. We have scientific excellence, but we maintain that excellence through collaboration. There are brilliant scientists throughout the world, and we need to work with them, alongside them, learning with them. The government wants to support that because it is, first and foremost, the right thing to do. It matters that we use our global excellence to global benefit. Finally, but by no means least, there is what's often referred to as soft power. Through our excellence, through working internationally, we demonstrate our willingness to learn and to help, to listen as well as to speak. And this matters internationally because it strengthens our voice in the international stage. It means other nations are willing to listen and to share their thoughts with us. By doing so, I think that our voice can contribute to building stability, security and prosperity. The Newton Fund is unique. It is the only fund that is dedicated to a country partnership with selected countries throughout the globe where we and those countries agree jointly both the funding and the content of the research. So it is peer-to-peer. There is a level of engagement and decency in that I think is transformational. So with these countries, we share our thoughts on what the societal challenges are and where our expertise can help. Typically, we will look at things like water, energy, food nexus. We look at the turmoil caused by climate change. We will look at challenges of clean air. All of these challenges that directly affect societies, but they directly affect our society too. So working together on the science, working together on the implementation of that science can transform those countries and can transform our country. I love the fact that it's called Newton. Newton, for us, is the epitome of our scientific achievement. And actually, to show that it's a shared resource, we call it the Newton Musharraf in Egypt. Musharraf was a fine Egyptian scientist. Or Newton Bhabha in India, for Bhabha was a fine Indian scientist. We share our resource, we share our brain power for their benefit and for ours. Matched funding, matched resource, matched thinking for matched benefit. Newton is a particularly special programme and it has special delivery partners. When we look at the impact of weather, when we look at the impact of climate change, the Met Office is there. The Met Office builds capacity in countries. It works with other organisations to build up their know-how and capacity so that it is a joint programme, but it works to transform the lives of the societies with which they engage. And they are extraordinarily successful. Through the Newton Fund and in all our international work, we need to use our very best. The Met Office is a beacon of excellence throughout the world.
With the support of the Newton Fund, we've set up the Weather, Climate and Science for Service Partnerships programme. And under that programme we have a number of projects, including projects in China, Brazil, South Africa and a number of Southeast Asia countries. Working with our partners in the UK and internationally, we accelerate the climate and weather science needed to develop the services that are going to help vulnerable communities navigate the challenge of changing climates. This is absolutely critical when we think about sustainable long-term development.
The Weather and Climate Science for Service Partnership is the Met Office's response to this challenge of converting science into services that can be used by government, industry and society. And really the challenge here is to convert science of climate change, which has a very broad perspective, into what might the weather impacts of that climate change be on individuals and society. So, for example, will we see more flooding events in the future? Will we see more heat waves in the future? And how will those affect people and what we're doing? One example of this science to service, which we're striving to do in the Weather and Climate Science for Service Partnership, is looking at the role of El Niño, which is a huge pool of warm ocean in the Pacific, but it has influences on the weather and the climate in remote locations. So for example, in China, in the CSSP China project, we've been looking at the influence of El Niño on rainfall patterns in the Yangtze River Basin, which is fantastically important for food production in China.